Hello everyone. Remember when summer vacation felt like they were lasting forever? When the wait until Christmas seemed impossible long? Now, somehow, entire years slip by like weeks. You blink and another birthday arrives. Why does time play those tricks on us? The answer reveals something fascinating about how our mind works and might even help us slow down time again. Time is the most common thing in our lives, yet it's also the most mysterious. We can't see it, touch it, or control it, but it shapes everything we experience. What's stranger still is in our experience of time often than has a little to do with what clocks tell us. 5 minutes waiting for the results can feel longer than 5 hours of watching movies. Time flies when we're having fun but crawls when we're bored. How can something so constant feel so flexible? The mystery depends when we look at how time perception changes with age. Ask a 10 years old and a 50 years old how long a year feels, and you will get dramatically different answers. For the child, it's an eternity. For an adult, it's a blink. But why? We are all living through exactly same amount of time. Scientists have discovered something fascinating about this phenomenon. It turns out that our perception of time speed is related to how much new information our brains are processing. When everything is novel and unfamiliar, like in childhood, our brains take detailed notes on every experience. Each day is filled with new discoveries, new lessons, new sensation. All this new information makes our memories dense and detailed, making past periods feel longer when we look back. But as we age, we encounter fewer truly new experiences. Our brains start operating on a kind of autopilot, not bothering to make detailed memories of familiar experiences. Drive the same road to work 1,000 times and your brain barely registers the journey anymore. Year can slip by this way, leaving few distinct memories to look back on. This is why the time seems to accelerate as we age. We are simply processing less new information. This explains something else peculiar about time, why it seems to slow down during accidents or tense moments. You've probably heard stories about time slowing to a crawl during the car crashes or an emergency situation. This isn't just imagination. It's your brain switching into high gear processing, taking in every detail of an important moment. Time isn't actually slowing down, but your perception of it changes dramatically. The same thing happened during travel to new places. A week in an exotic country often feels longer than a month at home. Your brain, confronted with new signs, sounds, and experience, returns to their childhood state of detailed processing. This is why travelers often report feeling like they've lived a lifetime in just a few weeks aboard. But here is where our modern world throws a wrench in the works. We are now living in what some philosophers call the age of immediacy. Everything is instant, from messages to the entertainment to food delivery. We are constantly bombarded with information, but paradoxically, this might be making time feel faster rather than slower. Think about how you experience time while scrolling through social media. Hours can vanish in what it feels like in minutes. You're processing lots of information, but it's shallow, repetitive, and doesn't carry distinct memories. Our brains skim rather than absorb, leading to what some researchers call temporal poverty, the feeling that time is slipping through our fingers faster than ever. This might explain why so many people feel like life is speeding up, not just with age, but with each passing year. We increasingly living in a world of familiar patterns and shallow interactions, giving our brain fewer reasons to create those dense, time-stretching memories. The implications go beyond just feeling rushed. Our relationship with time fundamentally shapes our experience of life. When time feels like it's constantly accelerating, we can end up in a particular state of anxiety, always feeling like we are running out of it. This affects everything from our stress levels to our decision making to our relationship. But here's the good news. Understanding how time perception works gives us tools to influence it. We can't actually slow down time, but we can slow down our perception of it. The key lies in the childhood state of novelty and presence. By deliberately seeking out new experiences, learning new skills, or even just taking new roads to the familiar place, we can force our brains to return to that detailed processing mode. Mindfulness practices help too. By paying full attention to ordinary moments, we can make them feel richer and longer. Some cultures have understood this for centuries. Many traditional societies have a completely different relationship with time. They focus on cyclical rather than linear time, emphasizing presence over progress. In this culture, time isn't something to be saved or spent, but rather something to be experienced fully. Modern psychics adds another layer to this mystery. Einstein showed that time isn't actually constant. It can stretch and compress depending on the gravity and speed. Some scientists even suggest that time as we experience it might be an illusion, a kind of mental construct our brain creates to make the sense of the reality. This raises profound questions about consciousness itself. Is our experience of time fundamental to who we are? Would we even be conscious without the ability to perceive time passage? Some philosophers argue that our sense of self is inseparable from our experience of time, that we are in essence temporal beings. Looking to the future, our relationship with time faces new challenges. Virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and increasing automation are changing how we experience the time passage. Will future generations experience time differently than we do? Will technology eventually allow us to hack our time perception? For now, through the practical lessons are clear. If we want time to feel richer and fuller, we need to become more like our childhood selves, curious, present, and open to new experience. We need to break out of routine, engage deeply with life, and create memories worth looking back on. Because in the end, time isn't just passing, it's being experienced, and how we experience it shapes not just our days, but our entire lives. Maybe that's why we say we spend time, because like money, its value depends on how much we have, but on how much we use it. So next time you feel time slipping away too quickly, remember, the clock might tick at a constant rate, but your experience of time is something you can influence. The secret to slowing down time might just be learning to live more like we did when time moved slowly, one rich, full moment at a time. After all, as Einstein said, the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. Perhaps our job is to make sure that when things do happen, we are present enough to notice. Thanks for watching.